Brian Tracy present a message that could change your life. Let me ask you a simple question. How long have you been waiting? Waiting for the right time, waiting for more clarity, waiting until you feel ready, waiting for life to give you a sign. But here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Waiting is the enemy. You don't need more time. You need to start, because nothing happens until you move. Dreams stay dreams. Plans stay plans. And success stays far away, just out of reach. In this message, I'm going to show you why the most powerful decision you can make is the decision to act now, not later. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to begin. Let me tell you something I've learned after decades of working with top achievers. The difference between winners and wishers is simple. Winners act. Wishers wait. Winners take the first step even when it's messy. Wishers sit back, hoping the path will magically appear. You see, life rewards action, not intention. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't move, nothing changes. Think about this. How many people do you know who are always planning, talking about what they'll do someday, but they're still in the same place year after year? That's because they've fallen into the trap of perfection. They believe they have to be ready. They believe they need more information, more time, more money, more support. But the truth is, you don't need more, you need movement. Even the smallest step forward creates momentum, and momentum is the fuel of success. Here's the irony. The longer you wait to start, the harder it becomes. Every day you delay builds the habit of delay. Every excuse strengthens your hesitation. Every moment you stall adds weight to your doubts. But action breaks that cycle. Action builds belief. Action silences fear. You don't have to feel confident to act. In fact, most confidence comes after you act, not before. You start, you struggle, you learn, you grow. That's the process. That's the path. That's how it works. Ask anyone who's built something great, they'll tell you. They were scared. They were uncertain. They didn't know what would happen, but they started anyway. And that decision, that single act of courage, changed everything. So if you're waiting for fear to disappear, stop. Fear doesn't vanish, but it does fade the moment you move through it. Let's make this personal. What's one thing you've been putting off? One step you know you should take, but haven't? Not because you can't, but because you keep telling yourself later. Later is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. Later turns into never. You don't need more time. You need more urgency. You need to feel deep in your core that your future depends on the actions you take today, because it does. Every goal you've set, every dream you've written down, every change you say you want, they're waiting on one thing: your decision to act. You don't need to be extraordinary. You don't need the perfect moment. You need to start where you are with what you have and do what you can. Because progress isn't about perfection. It's about motion. And motion starts with one bold step now. Let me share something powerful. The habit of immediate action is one of the greatest success habits you can build. Not later, not tomorrow, not when it feels right. Now, when you train yourself to act right away, to make the call, to send the message, to start the task, you build self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Because every time you act, you tell your brain, I follow through. I show up. I do what needs to be done. And the more you repeat that, the stronger you become. It doesn't mean rushing blindly. It means being decisive. It means not letting fear or laziness take the wheel. Ask yourself, how would your life change if you made a habit of acting immediately on what matters most? Not every action has to be big. Start small. Start consistent. Start now. Because once you get moving, truly moving, everything begins to shift. Let me be clear. Action creates clarity. Most people wait for clarity before taking action. But clarity doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. You figure things out by starting, not by sitting still. You learn faster when you're in motion. You make better decisions once you've gained momentum. Here's the truth. You don't need the whole plan. You don't need to see every step. You just need to take the first one and trust that the next will appear. Because life responds to movement. Opportunities find those who are already on the path. Doors open after you've knocked, not before. So if you're stuck, if you're unsure, if you're lost in thought, the solution isn't more thinking. It's movement. Take a step, any step. Even the wrong one will teach you more than standing still ever will. Let's talk about identity. Every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. When you choose action over delay, discipline over excuses, commitment over comfort, you reinforce the identity of someone who gets things done. And once you start to see yourself that way as a person of action, everything changes. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop overthinking. You start trusting your ability to figure things out. Because real growth happens when you stop asking, can I? And start saying, let's find out. Action rewires your brain. It trains you to take control. It builds momentum. And momentum is addictive. The more you act, the more capable you feel. The more capable you feel, the more you act. That's how transformation begins, one step at a time. Not with giant leaps, but with consistent forward movement repeated daily. And it all starts with the next decision you make. Let me leave you with this. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a moment when all the stars align, when fear disappears, when you feel completely ready. But that's not a reason to wait. That's your reason to begin. Because success doesn't come to the most talented, it comes to the most willing. Willing to start, willing to fail, willing to learn, willing to keep moving, even when it's hard. So I challenge you right now, pick one thing you've been delaying, one step that scares you, one decision you've been avoiding, and take action today. Not tomorrow, not soon, now, because that small act of courage might just unlock everything you've been waiting for. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what's on your mind. Your future doesn't wait. Why should you?